Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida. Right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Swing on by, buy you a big watch and chain like Buddy gets at International Diamond Center. Today's program, we'll have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show, and then we'll have Mike Morgan from the SEC Network get his thoughts on college football cranking up. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, our man Buddy Martin. You can listen to Buddy every night, very late at night. Buddy likes to stay up late, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Buddy Martin Show. What's up, Buddy?
I'm the David Letterman to your Johnny Carson or whatever.
You wear me out, buddy. We need to go to like 8 a.m.
I know. It's difficult because now I got to work at night. Anyway, it's good to be with you again. It was good last night. Good show last night. And I was reflecting on thinking about some of the things that we talked about. I think it's really cool, among the other things, is they're having this date for Urban, November the 7th, for the Oklahoma game. What a big game that's going to be. So he'll get his ring of honor ceremony.
It's going to be a big game. That's the key.
Well, I know Oklahoma's going to be good. We'll see. Hopefully Florida will be, but let me get my drift on that. And by the way, you're right. We need to research that and find out exactly how you get to the Ring of Honor. And
well, I know I've seen it. I know there are only 3 people that are eligible to get in. Are Wes Chandler, Lomas Brown, Carlos Alvarez. And I just do not understand why they're not already in.
Well, did we give that assignment last night to Franz and Kevin to say, look that up and find out why we can't know more about this? And why is it so? How can you be in the Hall of Fame college football and not be in your own Ring of Honor?
It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Zero sense.
Anyway, so that, and the other thing that resonated with me was the Marco Rubio quote. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Which for those that didn't hear about it, he was asked, I guess, as you pointed out, and I found the quote last night about what he would do if he had more time. And he said, my wife's going to hate this answer. He said, I'd love to sit down and watch every college football game from noon Eastern till West Coast games at 2 a.m. I love that about it. I'm a big Marco fan. Yep. By the way, I researched him. You know his background in football?
I have no idea about Marco Rubio's.
Okay, he played college football.
He did? Where?
For a minute. Well, here's the thing. He attended Tarkio College in Missouri. But before the school went under after his freshman year, the whole school went under in 1992. He transferred and earned his undergraduate at Florida, where, of course, his son Anthony is a preferred walk-on running back. I think he went to Miami, got a degree too. So anyway, yeah, that's cool. I'm with him on that. And you and I talked about.
Yeah, he'll probably be at 1 or 2 games. You see him up in the press area with all his Secret Service guys. So
not bad to see the Secretary of State, right? Your attending your games, not bad. So that's as political as I want to get.
Ryan asked here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Shane and Buddy, are you a fan of the big noon games on Fox? I personally like them. I guess he's asking about the noon start, or I don't know if he's asking about
I don't know either.
Big noon kickoff or whatever. I don't watch the shows, but Fox, I believe, did when they got into college football. They knew like ABC and ESPN, the 3:30, 7:30 were their primetime type games. They kind of put their big game at noon. And I think it's been pretty successI'm
think it's been very successful. I know Urban is on that pregame show, and that's been really successful. So, yeah, I'm a fan of it. Yeah, I like it because, it's more college football naturally. I don't know what the question is exactly, but yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Things are changing this year, Shane, and all the broadcasting. Now, you're not going to have Lauren Rutledge, which is, that's that she's moved up big time. She's become a big star on the NFL now. Gonna miss her, but I think we'll be all right. Are we getting that guy? What's that guy from the
Matt
network?
Berry.
Yeah, Matt Barry, which I think is pretty good. But as I
They
said,
should have let Alyssa Lane
I
handle
think I
it.
was just going to say, I think she really shone at the SEC Media Days. And Matt Barry feels like a little bit of an interloper. I know he does a lot of national shows. He's embedded himself with college football. He and Feinbaum do stuff. And I hate to say it this way, but he ain't one of us. You know what I mean?
Well, he does the play-by-play on the Thursday night with.
I know, I get it, but that's his national thing. We're talking about
Yeah.
Laura, who went to Florida, was raised in the SEC. And I know that sounds prejudiced, but yeah, that's going to change some things.
Yeah, they got some new, I think, as Trace says, Chase Daniel is now going to be a part of that, former Missouri quarterback. He does a really good job. Um, I don't watch any of those pregame shows, not even when Laura was doing the SEC network. I feel like they talk about the same stuff all the time. And plus, I got too much other stuff to do. Busy man, buddy.
Yeah,
Busy
you
man.
got to play golf, some more golf.
Well, I do play, if we have a night game, I do tee off at like 8
I
o'clock.
know, Shane.
It's a home
As
game.
long as there's light outside, you're playing golf. You're teeing
Mhm.
it up. So yeah. The other thing I thought was interesting is our discussion about the offensive line last night, and I made this comment, and I'll stand by it. I think some of the things that we fear that could be a weakness for Florida. By the way, the first press conference starts today at 1 o'clock with the head coach and some staff members, and tomorrow they go put the pads on and start popping. The
No
things
pads
they
tomorrow, buddy, just helmets.
just helmets. I'm sorry. They put some gear on tomorrow. I'll put it that way. Is that I think some of the things we worry about now that are going to be taken care of. I'm very high on the potential, and I'm going to put that in there, potential of the offensive line. Now that I'm hearing stuff about it, and we picked our when you left the show last night, we picked our assistant coach that would make the biggest difference, and obviously, offensive coordinator would be one of those. But I think the offensive line is going to be one of the strong points, and I think they got these transfers. Two of them they talk about. One of them is Shanahan, the offensive the guard. And the other one is Harrison Moore is going to be the center, and their offensive line. I think Troutwine's going to be the most valuable assistant coach out there by the end of the year. It may take a while, and even coach said that they haven't settled on their five yet, but they are getting there. So I think that will be one of the strengths of the team, Shane.
Let's hope so. As long as they play just decent football, that's all that matters. Rose Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com and go check out their new office location in Newberry. Barone 71, a pretty good question here, buddy. I don't know if you know the answer because I don't. We can find out though. He says, what part of the UAA would be tasked to find a deal with a corporate sponsor? Are they even interested? Seems like Gatorade should be the first phone call.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Gatorade and Publix being naturals. I don't know the answer to that question. It's too deep in the weeds for me because there's so much to know. In fact, I was thinking today, if I was going back to school to be a reporter in sports, I would get a degree in finance among in business to know understand some of this stuff. I don't
Would not
know.
want to do that, buddy. I went through that college, the
Did
business
you really?
college. It was
Really?
miserable.
Really?
Absolutely misery.
No kidding.
I don't know how I got through it.
Why did you choose that?
I don't know. I'm a business major, and it was the accounting, the finance, the calculus,
The calculus
and I'm
is,
good at numbers, but God dang,
yeah,
that thing wore me out.
really? No kidding.
And here's the great thing about it, buddy. I don't know if I've ever used it, and I couldn't tell you a damn thing I learned.
Well, that's true of most things in college. Yeah, you wonder why you went. And
Yes. I
I,
wish I
my,
would have been like a health and human performance, go over there and be like a PE coach or something.
really, I mean, it's
It would have been a lot
crazy.
easier.
Today, I hate to tell people what to do in anything. I advise my grandson to bear down and get his degree and go to college or whatever. He dropped out of high school at 10. in the 10th grade. And he got a GED, and now he has over $1 million he's made. So what kind of a grandfather am I telling him to go get his college degree? He didn't need it.
Yeah. Michael Schneider on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, if you were a coach and two-a-days were allowed, would you have them or not? Did they make the team tougher or have better endurance, more install? What was the benefit? Actually, my first 2 years before Coach Spurrier was hired here, they had a rule where you could have three-a-days. We practiced
Wow.
3 times a day. It was
Mhm.
terrible. Two-a-days, I think they still do kind of they don't really do two-a-day practices, but they'll have like a practice,
Mhm.
meetings, lunch, and then do
Mhm.
walkthroughs, which could be considered another practice. Um, the game has changed. They worry about the body more now. Um, I probably would not have two-a-days. One practice is good enough, but I would have a lot of walkthroughs because I think walking through, understanding your spacing, your assignments, with not all the crap on, not being, hot, you're in the air conditioning, you can really benefit mentally knowing your assignments and things of that nature.
Well,
But
and the temperature and the heat, and I played in it here in Florida. I remember, I think every year in August, I think about going back out to high school and playing where it's 100 degrees, and we played and practiced in 100+ degree weather, and we didn't have Gatorade. You know what they gave us to drink? A wet towel to suck on. That's
yeah,
all we
so
got.
buddy, back in Mississippi, I grew up in
Yeah,
North Mississippi.
yeah.
My dad was a coach. I played every sport. I'll never forget. And by the way, in today's world, they have all these trainers with these instruments. If it's at a
Hmm.
certain temperature outside, they won't let you practice.
Yeah.
That would not fly back in the state of Mississippi.
No.
They had the old sawhorse. You know what a sawhorse is, buddy?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, with a metal pipe that was rusted with about 6 holes in it, hooked up
Hmm.
to a water hose, and it's just shooting water up out of each one of those little holes. And you would have to get in a single file line. It'd be 5 or 6 guys at a time. You just start drinking as fast as you can over this sawhorse, and then they blow the whistle, you're out. That's all the water you got.
That sounds primitive. That's better than what we had. We literally had a wet towel to suck on. I mean, literally. And you got into, how unsanitary was that? That everybody
Oh
sucking on
yeah.
as
How
well.
sanitary is it drinking water out of this
Well,
rusty pipe?
I don't know. I drank water out of a hose all my life, so I don't know.
Well, the hose was fine, but it was going through a
Yeah,
rusty
I
pipe.
hear you. That's unusual. It's pretty primitive.
Yeah, so I'm still alive right now. So this day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life for over 90 years at Campus USA Credit Union. Buddy, 1996, I'm pretty sure you were there. The Summer Olympic Games closed at Centennial Olympic Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia on this day.
I was not there that Atlanta. I was in
Buddy,
LA, LA, but
well, I don't know if you know this or not. Somebody will. Did they build an Olympic stadium or did they tear down turn where they what was that the old
baseball
launching pad?
field.
I can't remember where the track and all that was for the Olympic.
Memory's not good on that, but they built a lot of stuff. I know that.
Yeah. And I think where that Olympic Park was is where Georgia State University plays their football games now.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Shane,
I,
did you ever go to the varsity when you were there?
I have been to the varsity a couple of times.
I worked in Atlanta as an intern for one summer.
Worked at the varsity?
No, I worked at the Journal of the Constitution one summer there, and I went to the varsity. And my friend told me, he said, "You're going to enjoy this. This is unusual." So I got in this line, got my tray, and started going through the line. You order, and I said, I'll take 2 hot dogs and a Coke." And the guy shouted out, "Pair of dogs walking, squirt one." That was what he said. I'll
Oh,
never forget that. The varsity's still there.
yeah, it is. It's been there a long, long time. All right, buddy. Ted says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. This year, there should be no complaining about play calling. Well, people are still going to complain. If
Of
if we
course they
had
are.
podcasts and sports talk radio, which I think they did a little bit even when Coach Spurrier was here,
Oh yeah, we
people
had our
complain about
station.
play calling.
We started our station when Coach Spurrier was here. Whether it was GGG in Gainesville and MLP in Ocala. You bet we had it. Yeah. That's just part of the game. It's second guessing like baseball. That's their favorite thing to do is second guess when they put the pitcher in, when they take him out, etc. Um, yeah, of course. I want to talk some baseball before we go because what's happening to the Dodgers, I don't know if they're destroying baseball or what, becoming like cannibals. But yeah, so Shane, how much influence should a coach have about what's said in broadcasting? Who
Say that
should
one
be
more time.
the head coach of programs? How much do they say about who's broadcasting the games?
You mean on TV or on the radio?
Both.
They have zero.
Well, what do you think of the story about Boston College firing its basketball radio broadcasters? Said that both the decision came from the new head coach, Luke Murray, who
Yeah, you know
didn't
who
go
Luke
in.
Murray's dad is?
No,
Bill Murray.
really,
Hmm.
no joke.
No joke.
Well, yeah, but that's strange. Why would you? How could the basketball coach be fired by
Well, the only thing I can
fire
think
the?
of is if he had some kind of bad relationship with those guys for some reason, because he was at Connecticut for a while with Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
I think he was at Xavier as well. Bill Murray's son's been around coaching for a long time.
Well, these guys, Kevin Collins and Josh Mara, called Boston College basketball for 9 years. With Collins in the booth, 13 seasons, across three head coaches. It said they were told they were not being retained, leaving them to find another full-time broadcasting job elsewhere. I'm not strange. I read a thing that Dan Wolken, you know, Dan Wolken is a columnist.
I've heard the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his kinds of a very good columnist now. I think he just moved over to ESPN. He said he has enough to worry about and learn as a first-time head coach that concerning himself with the broadcast team is at best a complete waste of just energy and at worst suggests a paranoia and insecurity that will not serve him well in his job. I agree with that. I think the head coach shouldn't have any say about who's broadcasting the games.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I mean, broadcast guys get fired all the time.
Yeah, but for different,
You're not
look at
supposed
Tony
to.
Romo. How about speaking again? How about this? Tony Romo may lose his job
Yeah.
over this DUI, and I guess they're going to try to find cause, right? You've been reading about that?
I mean, I saw what happened. I haven't really followed it closely.
Yeah, well, there's speculation. He's got this huge contract, and apparently they must not be happy with him because there's talk about they're finding a way out of their contract. So,
Um, Andy's question comment on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law says, have you seen Justin Fields at the Kansas City camp? Nussmeier has a great chance to back up Mahomes. I haven't seen anything. I guess Nussmeier is out playing Justin Fields does not surprise me one bit. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a pretty good player.
it's
I
heard a
don't think
lot.
Justin Fields is a quarterback.
Really, you don't?
Never have, never will.
Well, he played pretty good in college.
He did okay in college. He wasn't great, but he's played for a bunch of teams already in the NFL as a
Yeah.
first round pick.
Well,
Which,
Nussmeier was banged up so badly at LSU.
Yeah.
He got hurt all the time.
MSRK says, buddy, Jim Nantz will bail him out. I guess he's talking
Well,
about Romo.
I guess that's Romo. Here's the thing: they replaced him for the exhibition game they're playing, or preseason game they're playing with Watt. JJ Watt, is it?
He's pretty good.
Yeah. And so someone said last night, I guess it was Dan Levitard. I watched his show a little bit lately, and he says, I don't think it will affect one bit who watches the game. He said, I don't think if they didn't have anybody, they would not lose.
People are still going to watch. It doesn't matter who the hell's calling.
Yeah, but I mean, the question is, how much does a broadcaster add to it? And if they add to the ratings, that means more money. I don't know. Does it affect you when you watch a game?
No,
You don't care.
no.
You'll be fine watching the coach's film.
Yeah. Alex actually says here on the Titan More text line, he asked me who is my favorite color analyst on TV. In the NFL, it's Greg Olson. I think he is phenomenal.
Really?
I think he's better than anybody.
Huh.
Really do. And he was the number one guy until they hired Tom Brady. Then they made him the number two guy because they had already offered Brady all that money. But I think Greg Olson is as good as anybody.
It's pretty good. I don't watch as much NFL as you do.
College, I don't even remember who all the color analysts are in
We had to
college.
get we had to get a list of that. I don't want to say it until I have a chance to think about it. I watch and listen to a lot of stuff on TV. So let me just sort of break that down next time. I'm not prepared in my mind to pick a broadcast. I don't think a whole lot about it. Who's called the game? There's some that annoy me that I don't take like, but let me think about that. I don't. Yeah. Hey Shane, speaking of college football and traditions and things, we worried about the fact that with the new game we got going to have that some of these traditional rivalries are not going to be played, and they're not. We're already talking about a season of not playing Tennessee, not playing LSU. We're talking about a completely different SEC schedule and look, and some of these big games. What if they stopped playing Ohio State, Michigan? They would because they're in the same conference. But here's the thing: they dropped without us realizing it. Basically, Notre Dame, USC. Now that doesn't affect me personally, but that's been a great rivalry for a long, long, long time. Apparently, they brought it back yesterday and after a multi-year hiatus and several rounds back and forth negotiations. They brought the days back of Newt Rockney that they used to talk about. This thing goes a long way and a lot of great moments, a lot of great games. And now it's Monday, they agreed to a 4-year deal starting in week one of 2030, made possible in part by Indiana's impending decision to back out of its home series with Notre Dame. Talk about schedules.
Well, we
Wow.
we talked to JC raised hell about Indiana's schedule yesterday.
Yeah, I heard him.
And they have an opportunity right there to play in-state opponent, and they are dodging the Irish. The Irish are going to be damn good this year. You can book it. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Their quarterback, as I heard the other day, was the top prospect. Carr, do you know about
DJ
him?
Carr's a good player.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Adam says Brad Nessler. Brad Nessler's a play-by-play guy, but he's
yeah.
really
He's
good.
in. Yeah,
And he says Dusty Dvorak. I think he's very good as well.
he's okay. He's okay. I haven't. Well, go ahead. You let them fire away. I have to think about mine for a minute.
Well, that's I'm just reading what's
Yeah,
on
that's
there.
good. I mean,
Oh, Adam Geis, yes, talking about great crews was my favorite crew of all time. And probably my favorite play-by-play guy.
Madden Summerall,
No, Ron Franklin and Mike Godfrey.
Well, we forgot about Ron Franklin got fired, didn't he?
Mike Godfrey got fired
And
because
so did Ron Franklin. Eventually got
I
fired.
don't,
Yeah, he did. He
well,
got
he
fired.
passed away as
No,
well.
but he got fired obviously first. No, Ron Franklin. I thought Franklin was pretty good.
He was outstanding.
Really.
I absolutely loved him as a kid growing
What's the
up.
first guy you remember growing up watching games and hearing, other than local Mississippi games and Ole Miss games and Mississippi State games?
Probably Ron Franklin because he was doing all the
Really?
ESPN games when I was growing up.
Really? Okay.
Here's the situation. That's what he used to always say.
Hmm.
Anyway, buddy, who's on the program tonight?
Well, it's going to be Lauren Meadows and Rob Brown of the team. They'll have us a guest star, and he always brings something extra special. Be sure and tune in and check him out tonight, the regular time, regular place. Let me ask you about baseball for you, so you send me down the road packing. Have you been following exactly what the Dodgers have been doing now? And that deadline yesterday, a bunch
Yeah,
of
they've got
changes.
the best team in baseball money can buy, and there's nothing wrong with it because there are no rules or regulations. There's no salary cap. Till they do that, it's ridiculous.
But I mean, yeah, but the problem is that the system is that they're saying that the massive spending and the star accumulation is hurting the compelling competitive balance of and future economic rules in baseball. Now, look, they didn't say that when Steinbrenner was about all the players in baseball, but I mean, they just keep getting richer and richer. They got such good players on that team, and some people say it's like Barry Bryant used to do. He'd sign the guys and not play them just to keep them going someplace else.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you been
Yeah,
following
I
baseball?
watch it. I don't think it's fair, but they're not breaking any rules
No,
until they have a salary cap. They're going to continue doing it.
I hear you. How about these damn Boston Red Sox? Holy mackerel.
They're hot.
Oh my, hot. They're beyond hot. They came out of nowhere. They're just going crazy. And I'll sign off with this baseball note. I hate to be negative about it. I've had the worst baseball season on TV of getting the games I wanted to see. And partly is I've lived in different places and have different systems for getting the games. I went from getting all the Rays games I ever wanted to see for nothing. Then I went to Panama City and I signed up for networks. So today you got to have like 5 or 6 different networks to get anything. And then my provider into my condo building wouldn't let me get them. I couldn't get them, even though I paid for them. I couldn't get them because my TV provider was the same. That was awful. Now I moved back to Ocala, figured I'd get the games here. Now you can't get the Rays games unless you sign up in baseball. And I would be glad to sign up if I knew how. I don't know how to sign up for go to MLB. So I've got to see the Rays about 3 times this year, and they're hot as a firecracker. They're playing great, and it makes me mad. But baseball, the one team I want to follow, I can't. Baseball's got to get it right.
There you go. Buddy, good stuff. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
All right, Shane. Thank you.
That's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Quick timeout. We'll be joined by Mike Morgan. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Rue's Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Join Steve Spurrier, Danny Warple, and Tim Tebow, together with their Heisman trophies, for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill on Sunday, August 23rd. Enjoy an unforgettable night of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 1:17 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be part of Gator history.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Real estate attorney Michael Schneider can help you save thousands in real estate commissions, whether you're selling or buying. Michael also provides buyer representation. He will watch out for your best interest. Learn more at mhschneiderpllc.com. Back to the Taking More Hotline, our man Mike Morgan from the SEC Network. What's up, Mike?
Shane,
Oh, I like it.
morale is
Nice.
high. I'm wearing a Fun and Gun t-shirt, my man.
You have
That is-
arrived.
now it's officially on. Now it's officially on. No, it many thanks to you. That still brings back some incredible memories. I think the SEC as a whole, as we just went through another media days, part of the reason why people just like gravitate toward Lane Kiffin, and Lane didn't really, Lane was like a great comedian who left his best material at home. I think Lane was probably told as well, not like demanded. You don't demand Lane do or don't do anything, but probably told maybe you ought to dial it back a little bit, Lane. You know, it's been a bit of turbulent off season, but the reason why the media gravitates toward Lane is the same reason why they gravitated toward Spurrier back in the day, is that there was actually some personality and unpredictability in what he was going to say. The rest of these guys, for the most part, are just, I mean, Eli's got a little swag to him. And I asked Eli when he first got the job, you know, why do you wear a visor? I got that because Spurrier was my idol, and that was my favorite coach. But most of these guys are just, you know, they're canned statements. They're predictable. You don't get much out of it. And so we've lost a lot of that. Like, we've lost personality. We've lost off the cuff stuff. You know, Lou Holtz for a time would give you some good stuff, but Steve had them all beat, man. Steve was one of one, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think you got a little personality now, as you said. Obviously, Lane, Eli. I think Coach Summerall brings some to it because he'll just say what's on his mind.
Yeah.
And Pete Golding.
Yeah. Pete, Pete's in a no-lose situation for now, right? Pete's in a no-lose situation because he's almost a sympathetic figure, and he can carry the white knight. Like, yeah, unlike that Lane guy, that Benedict Arnold traitor, I'm loyal to Ole Miss, and all that sounds great and everything else. And look, just about everybody has Ole Miss in that 3-hole, right? Like, everybody's got Georgia and Texas 1-2 or 2-1. And then who do you go third? Well, because Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacey are back, I think it's going to be an incredible year for SEC running backs, by the way, one of the best we've seen in a long time. But if Ole Miss does take a true step back, the love affair for Pete Golding is going to fall lickety split. You know this. I mean, because now you've given Ole Miss a taste of the good life. Under Lane, the last few years, they're winning 10 games. They're beating people they never beat before, and they're competing for playoffs. And so they made it last year, and all of a sudden it's like Ole Miss has arrived. Now we'll see if they can keep it, because a deeper look at it shows you, I mean, that was, if ever there was a portal program, it was Ole Miss. And every at one point I was doing a game, all 11 starters were portal guys. The quarterbacks are all portal guys. Most of the guys on the perimeter were portal guys, all linemen. So it's going to be a very interesting case study. Does Pete stay with that kind of MO in terms of recruiting, and can he match the success? And I know they got to look. They have their offensive coordinator in place, and they've got, you know, they've got guys that will probably not change a whole lot up. But one of the benefits, this is what made Spurrier so great. Like, everybody steals from everybody. So you can steal a scheme. You can steal certain plays. But what you can't steal is on-the-cuff adjustments in the middle of the game, right? Adjustments at halftime, adjustments in the middle of the fourth quarter. That's what separates the good offensive play callers from the elite. And like him or hate him, Lane is elite, and Lane is not there anymore. So I wonder, does Trinidad Chambliss take a step back, or is he as good as he was last year? Because he was damn good. I'm very curious about all of that.
Yep. Yeah, the elite play callers know when to call the play.
Right.
I tell everybody this all the time. Every team in America has the same exact pass plays.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has anything that's hidden. It's never been called before. This secret pass play. Everybody has the same stuff. It's when do you call it? What time do you call it? Let me ask you this, talking college coaches in the SEC. From a pressure standpoint, whether it's from administration, fan base, or whatever, obviously, let's take South Carolina out of it. They're not going to win the SEC. I don't think they're going to have a very good year personally. Is it Sark? Sark's been to the playoffs the last 2 years. Or is it Lane for the amount of money that they have spent at LSU? Is it, and they've had some down years.
Right.
What if he goes 8-4 this year?
I think to answer your question, it's Lane. And there's 100 million reasons why. That's what it costs this year to pay off Brian Kelly and his staff, to bring in Lane and his staff, and to buy the players that they bought. That's over $100 million just on football. Just on football. And unlike Texas, who hasn't been national championship relevant in a long, long time, you got to go back to Vince Young in 2005. LSU had 3 consecutive coaches win national titles not that long ago, right? And one of them is the GOAT in Nick Saban. But the other 2, most fans don't think could walk and chew gum at the same time, and Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. So that tells the LSU fan base, hell, we don't have to have a great coach to win a national championship. We're LSU. We're going to get players. We're going to have one of the most intimidating home field advantages. Just don't screw it up. Well, Brian Kelly screwed it up. And so now it's like, now you bring in Lane Kiffin, and the expectations are insanely high. There's no such thing as a rebuild anymore in college football because of the portal. Lane loves the portal, as I just talked about with Ole Miss. They are expected at bare minimum, in my mind, Shane, to make the playoff. 8-4 ain't going to cut it. 8-4 will not cut it at LSU for that fan base this year, because I don't think 8-4 gets you in the playoffs. 9-3 will. So I think yes, there's pressure on Sark in Texas, although I think a lot of that pressure, quite frankly, falls more on the shoulders of Arch Manning than it does on Sark. Right now, Arch Manning is the face of Texas football, not Sark, whereas Lane Kiffin is the face of LSU.
Good point. Text here from James in Nashville on the Titan More text line. He wants to know your thoughts on some of the comments coming out of the Big Ten media days, how they took shots at the SEC.
Yeah, great question. I knew it was coming. The ultimate troll job was done by Brett Bielema. Now, Brett Bielema was an interesting guy because when he was at Arkansas, they didn't exactly dominate the SEC, right?
They sucked.
Yes, exactly. Like, go back and look at his conference record. It's well below 500. Now, in fairness, I think Arkansas is a very difficult job to win at. Nobody's done it since Bielema, and very few did it before, other than Petrino. That motorcycle day just doomed Arkansas football for probably the next 50 years. I hope it was worth it, Bobby. Some people would say still undefeated, but when you look at it, Bielema posted something about the SEC because somebody said, well, the SEC, they're claiming that the schedule's stronger, blah, blah, blah. And he posted on his Twitter account the box score of his win against South Carolina in one bowl game and Tennessee in another bowl game. So, and that's at Illinois. So, I mean, look, let them have their fun. They earned it. They've got 3 titles in 3 years at 3 different schools. They've had some other of those middle tier schools like in Illinois have some success. I get it. God knows the SEC pounded its chest during that historical run. But I would caution the Big Ten on one thing. Like, fame is fleeting. You know, Michigan is not Michigan anymore without Harbaugh. And I think everybody is wondering, can Indiana pull the rabbit out of the hat 3 years in a row with 3 different quarterbacks? Now you get the Hoover kid from TCU. Now he was in the Brile system over there, put up numbers. They didn't win a ton. We'll see if he's the answer. They're not going to get Fernando Mendoza type results because that kid won the Heisman Trophy and was the number one pick in the draft for a reason. Pinpoint accuracy, smarter than hell, an unbelievable field general. I don't know if Hoover fits that mark. So if Indiana takes a step back and Michigan's already taken a step back, after Ohio State, what do you have? Maybe Penn State gets back with a new coach. Maybe they don't. So I don't expect the Big Ten. I'm not one of these oh, well, clearly they've taken over the mantle. No, they've had a great 3-year run. The SEC is still a deeper league. I don't think I'm a homer for saying that. Does anybody even argue that? The SEC, 1 through 10, is still a deeper league. But people remember who finishes on top. The Big Ten has won it 3 years in a row. If they win it 4 years in a row, damn it, they'll continue to brag and talk trash, and they'll earn every bit of it.
Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians, great food and Southern hospitality. Visit us in Brooksville, Florida, or visit Florida Cracker Oyster Bar, Keystone Heights. Real quick, MSRK on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, who was the coach when Arkansas had the great backs? I believe that was Houston Nutt. Houston Nutt. Didn't he take them to the SEC championship game multiple times?
Well, Danny Ford did it the first year against Florida in '95, and they had a good tailback who had a terrible Madre Hill, I believe was his name.
Yeah,
because I was in Atlanta to cover that game back in the old RUF days. And then, they had Darren McFadden, who was unbelievable. And Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis.
Yeah.
Remember Peyton Hillis?
Yep.
Who actually had a 1,000-yard season with the Browns. Yeah, they had some incredible backs during those days. And then Petrino came in, completely changed the wiring of the offense. And then they were throwing all over the place and winning 9-10 games. And that's when, again, that was their high water mark. It was like Arkansas football, here we come. And then Petrino does his thing. They've never been the same since, Shane. It's a tough place to win at. Fayetteville is.
Annie's question on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Mike, being in Atlanta, how much buzz is there about Alberto Mendoza and Georgia Tech this season?
I don't know. You got to remember, Haynes King, with the help of Buster Faulkner, right, was so good for that program the last couple of years. He is the one that willed them to a lot of those wins. He was an incredible athlete at quarterback. He fit Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech just doesn't get the elite athletes that some of the premier schools do, even in the ACC. They were beating people that were more talented. And it was because, in large part, to the head coach, to Faulkner, and to King. I don't know if Mendoza is getting that kind of buzz. I think Georgia Tech fans, if you gave them truth serum, would have to say, look, we're a little bit nervous. We might take a step back now. That was a heck of a run, and we had our opportunities. They still couldn't beat Georgia. They came close. They still couldn't beat Georgia, and they kind of floundered toward the end of last year. I don't know if there's a ton of buzz, but I do know this. They've got the right people in charge. They finally found their coach is the kind of guy, because Tech, as you all know, is a very difficult job to win at. You can't just bring any player you want. The kids actually have to go to some class and learn some math and do those kind of things. But I wonder if Georgia Tech can continue to stay at the level they've been, because Haynes King was that good.
That's what I think Vanderbilt goes back to being close to being old.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yep.
Yeah, because there's always these kids, as you mentioned, Haynes King, Diego Pavia. They're winners. They figure out how to win games. People follow them. They're great college players for their team.
Right.
But it's like Gunnar Stockton. Do I think Gunnar Stockton is going to play in the National Football League? No. And I could be wrong, but he just doesn't fit that mold. But he's a hell of a college quarterback that knows how to win games.
Trinidad Chambliss, same thing. I don't know if he plays it down in the NFL.
So I like what I used to say about Tim. I was like, Tim is not going to play in the NFL. But why do Gator fans care about? Because what he did for Florida is one of the greatest players of all time in the history of the game.
I'm so glad you said that. I make that point a bunch. And look, you were fortunate to play in the NFL for 14 years or whatever. But even if you hadn't, Shane, I mean, let's just say you didn't get that opportunity. It wouldn't change the fact that you were a two-time SEC Player of the Year,
Right.
threw for a ton of yards, beat a bunch of teams, and helped put the program on the map under Steve. We get, and look, you know me, I'm an NFL draft geek, and so I do look at these things and I do care about these things. I can't help myself where I'll watch a guy and project, how does he look at the next level? But if he doesn't throw a single pass in the NFL, it doesn't matter for his college career. Johnny Manziel, as big of a knucklehead as he is, and as much as he screwed himself over at the next level, it doesn't change the fact that for 2 years,
He
the
was as
kid
good
was,
as anybody I've ever
oh
seen.
my God, he was ridiculous. He was ridiculous. You could make the argument his career at A&M was better than Cam Newton's for 1 year at Auburn. Cam Newton went on to have a successful NFL career. Johnny Manziel didn't. But Johnny Manziel won the Heisman for a reason, beat Alabama. No defense knew how to defend him because he was one of the best scramblers I've ever seen in college football. So I don't care if he didn't do anything good in the NFL. It doesn't change the fact he was a great college player, just as Chambliss is, just as Stockton is, and just as a guy like Haynes King, who will never throw a pass in the NFL, certainly was great for Georgia Tech.
Yep. Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. All right, Mike, Franklin on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, asks, what does Mike think about Tony Romo? When will he be back in the booth?
You're asking about a CBS announcer, so I can actually comment on that. I'm glad he doesn't work for ESPN. I would have had to plead the fifth. I would have been like Dr. Fauci. Based on my counsel, I cannot comment on.
That's right.
Yeah. That one is tricky because I'd have to know, I'm not trying to sound like a lawyer here. I'd have to know what the contract says for Tony. There is a bunch of money committed to Tony Romo. And very often, announcers have clauses the same way coaches have clauses, Shane. How many times have you seen a college coach that the fan base and the administration's like, man, we never should have given him a $40 million buyout. Oh, wait, he just had an inappropriate relationship with a co-ed. Now we can fire him and not pay the buyout. Like, that's been happening a lot here in college.
With cause or whatever.
With cause, right. So I don't know if they have a way of terminating Mr. Romo with cause. Why do I say that? It doesn't matter what I think, and I caught some of your conversation early, and I could do a whole thing on good announcers, bad announcers. It doesn't matter whether or not you think Tony Romo is good or annoying or anything else. They have to make a calculation. Can they fire him with cause, or without cause, if that's the way they want to go? And then, don't underestimate Jim Nance's role in all this. Jim Nance and Tony Romo have a pretty good rapport. Jim Nance is the face of CBS Sports. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this. I'll let you in on a little secret. And I know this because a guy that I did some games with, Hudson Mason, former Georgia quarterback, he did this for Dan Fouts. When Tony Romo burst onto the scene and he was calling the plays before they happened, remember that? People were like, oh my God, he just knew it was going to be that particular play call. He had another guy in the booth who was a former Ivy League quarterback whose sole job was to sit there with binoculars, look at the defense, go to his chart of tendencies and everything else and say, Tony, I think they're going post corner here. This is the one where they blah, blah, blah. Tony had help. Dan Fouts had help. When you hear an analyst who seems to always know the play call before, don't ever underestimate. At that level, at my level, we don't get like an extra brain in the booth. It's just me and my analyst. It's just you and Sean, right?
Yeah.
But at that level, if you're like the number one, this, that, and the other, sometimes you do get an extra brain. And I think that brain is no longer there. And so all of a sudden, that magic of Tony just like being the gypsy calling every play before it happens, I think that's faded a little bit. And so some people have kind of soured on Tony. Some people say this, that. Again, none of my business, but in terms of what CBS will do, it really depends on a number of factors, including how the contract is written.
All right, before we get you out of here, we got a couple of baseball questions, and I want to get your thoughts on baseball. In my opinion, needs a salary cap. What's going on is crazy. But are Art, no wait, who is it? I want to know. Oh, here it is. It's Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Clark.
Barone.
Might see the Braves getting more healthy and making a run this year.
Oh gosh. First off, I agree. Baseball, what's happening with the Dodgers, it's no fault of the Dodgers. It's the fault of the people that have led a system where a team can outspend everybody, and their luxury tax is more than 7 major teams' payrolls. That's a problem. You can't ignore it. There's going to be a lockout. Okay, the Braves. It's DEFCON 1 to make a War Games analogy, Shane. They are in panic mode. The trade deadline came and went yesterday at 6:00 p.m. And by 6:00 p.m., they picked up an average relief pitcher and an average starter and no really solutions on how to get better, like significantly better. So it was considered by most people a fail. And I'm sure Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, made a lot of good offers out there, but people had better ones. And so the same players that the same players that the Braves wanted, like a Scooble, of course. We all knew he was going to the Dodgers, but there were other guys out there, starting pitchers. The Braves really needed 2 of them, and they just got better offers from other teams. So Atlanta's going to try to find that 2021 magic where they just did it with a bunch of kind of mid-level players that all played well together, got hot at the right time. I don't think this is going to happen this year. I think Atlanta lost out yesterday, and I don't think they're good enough to beat the Dodgers and get back to the World Series.
Yeah. Mike, good stuff as always. Goes by very, very fast, but
yeah, love
we are
it, man.
picking up college football, and we look forward to having you on hopefully each week and talk a little ball. And we'll talk to you next week, my man.
I'm in. I look forward to it, Shane. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your listeners, man. You got a sharp crew that tune into this show. It's a highbrow audience, which come to expect from Shane Matthews, man. Thank you much.
Right. That is Mike Morgan. Join us on the Titan and More hotline. The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the Mango Martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors or find your favorite at shopjfhaydens.com. Thanks, everybody, joining in. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.